Okay, a very warm welcome to here at Addington, and a very warm welcome to this Pacific Steel Group seminar on the world of seismic reinforcing. And I do appreciate your time and thank you for coming along this afternoon. Just by way of very quick introductions, my name's Paul Alsford. I hail from Wellington, ex-government, now a sort of consultant in the industry, so I managed to straddle both sides of the evil axis. So that's a bit of my background, and some of you are involved in some of the training around licensing. You'll probably see me popping up there as well. We're very fortunate today to have three very good speakers, and I'll introduce them all shortly, but we've got John here and Des Bull from Seismic, and then we'll also be having Bruce Roberts from Pacific Steel joining us as well. So we're going to be splitting this presentation into three particular parts, but I'll introduce them shortly. Once we've had those keynote presentations, then we'll have a bit of a Q&A forum with the three of them, so there'll be a chance for you guys to ask questions and clarifications and anything else you'd like to quiz them about as far as the presentations go. So we'll look forward to that, and then we'll do a quick wrap-up at the end. I'll talk a wee bit about some of the CPD requirements that some of you might need to meet, and obviously, as you've seen on your seats there as well, there are some handouts that you can take away with you at the completion of the session. So really the purpose of today is threefold. One of the big things is that what you're seeing here with Pacific Steel and Seismic together is just a sense of a responsibility to provide very good information about a very topical subject around seismic reinforcing. And you can see now these organisations wanting to get together and making sure there is good, relevant and up-to-date information about that whole aspect of mesh reinforcing. In addition to that, I guess the better the information that is out there and the more people are able to access it, the more confidence there is in the use of and understanding the use of ductile mesh and seismic reinforcing as we talk about it through the afternoon. And at the end of the day, whether you're in the design side of the industry, whether you're on the construction side of the industry or in the building control side of the industry, I think what's most important is you have good information, you have that confidence, and it will pay dividends for a long time to come. Now, probably more historically, and most of you will be very aware of this, some of the changes around the acceptable solution around structure. Many of those changes came through across the whole country in August of 2011. And as you can see now that those changes were important enough that they're also part of 3604, which is another critical standard within the industry. And the crucial changes really, as you can see there, were the concrete slab on ground, now the requirement for 500E mesh steel that's got to be tied to the perimeter foundation reinforcement. That was the first big change. And of course, around the definition of good ground, particularly here in Canterbury, just taking particular note of excluding land where there's either the possibility of liquefaction or some sort of lateral spread occurring. So that's more of a historical sort of change around the documents that support the building code, in particular reference to B1, AS1. So you'll see a lot of that stuff, particularly around the 500E reference throughout the afternoon. At the end of the day, why these changes, and again what very much drives this afternoon's session, is really just very simple. It's threefold really. One is the use of the right sort of ductile mesh that will reduce damage. And naturally, if you can reduce damage, you've got half a chance then of reducing the extent of the repair work. And if you can get those two things working together, then there's a less likely level of disruption that actually occurs. So it's about sort of one adding to the other, resulting in overall a much better effect. And that naturally, of course, leads to the importance of understanding mesh and ductile mesh in particular. So what I'd like to do now, just to keep the ball rolling, is introduce the first of our, in fact, I'll introduce both of them, John here and Des Bull from Seismic. John will lead the first part of the keynote presentation, and then Des will take over after that, and then we'll follow through with Bruce afterwards. So just in case for those of you who don't know John or Des, they're key members of the Structural Engineering Society. From John's perspective, and they both actually work for the Homes Consultancy Group, structural engineers, and both based here in Christchurch. John's the current president of Seismic, and for those of you who know Des, he's very much involved in the academic side of engineering and involved with the University of Canterbury, and both of them are well-travelled and well-published as well. So we're very fortunate to have them both here with us. So first and foremost, please welcome John here, who'll begin the first part of the keynote presentation. John.